Welcome back. We're outside again. We're on the back deck this time. We may hear some cows in the background or something. There's no telling. So today we are talking about change, and change is hard. I hate change, and it is hard. And I like things to stay the same, or I like for them to stay the same how I think they should be in my mind. One of the hardest things for me, a big change that happened in my life that was very hard for me was when I got married. The getting married part wasn't the hard part. The hard part was my husband was in the military, and we got married, and then 2 weeks later he ships off to Spain, and that's where he was going to be stationed. So it took a couple of months for paperwork and all that for me to be able to go over there. Well, it all sounded all well and good. It all sounded exciting. You're going on an adventure, you're going to Spain, you've never been there. Well, that's part of the problem. I had never been anywhere. I'd never been away from home other than family vacations or trips, stuff like that. I'd been on trips with friends before, but this was different. This was across the water. This was, you don't know when you're coming back because that's where he's stationed and that's where we're going to live. Well, it was all fine until we get to the airport. My family takes me to the airport, and I was fine right up until I got in line to board the plane. And that's when there's a cow. That's when it hit me, when I was in line to board the plane, that this is about to change. And I'm going to miss my family, and I don't know when I'm going to get to see them again. So I just started bawling. And I cried and I cried. I got on the plane and I cried the whole way to Spain. I just cried. Sat there and cried by myself. Just cried the whole way there. Got there, still cried. I cried. I kid you not. I cried every day for 2 years. Every day. At some point during the day, I cried because my heart was broken and all this change was different. I was going to a whole nother country. I didn't speak the language and I didn't know a soul. So I cried. I know he got real tired of me crying every day, but he's very patient. And, we just had to deal with it, and we had to learn, and we had to figure out how we make this work in a whole nother country. So that was one of the changes that, it was just hard because I wanted to be where my family was. And so, one of the things I had talked to, I told y'all about last year we lost my cousin David. And last week I was talking to his wife, and we were talking about all the changes that now she's had to face, the stresses and the adjustments and just the being overwhelmed and exhausted with everything that has come her way. And, we talked about how we have to adjust to a new normal, and there's nothing normal about it. And it's hard. We go through so many changes in our lives, and they're not always easy. And we have so many ups and downs and twists and turns, and it's hard. It's hard to get used to. It's hard to make adjustments. It's hard to know what we need to do. And so, in my own life, when my life got turned upside down and there were so many changes happening, I just wanted some sense of normalcy, some sense of something I could hang on to, something I could depend on. And that's something that my cousin's wife and I talked about last week was, Hebrews 13:8 says, Jesus Christ the same yesterday and today and forever. That's what we can cling to when everything is crazy, when there's changes happening, when things are happening that we're not comfortable with. It just changes. that is something we can cling to, that He is the same. Jesus is the same yesterday, today, and forever, for all of our tomorrows. He's going to be the same. He's our constant. He's our rock. He's that foundation that we have that's unshakable. And He never changes. We can count on Him every single day of our lives, and that does never change. It just never changes. And that's what brings me peace in my life when I struggle with change. I've told y'all before I'm stubborn. Sometimes I may be a little set in my ways, and I like things to stay the same. And I know in my heart that some change is good, and things have to change for God to grow us and to change us. And I know in my heart that change is supposed to be good. Not all changes are great. She lost her husband, and that is heartbreaking. And in Lamentations 3:22 through 23, it says, "It is of the Lord's great mercies that we are not consumed, because His compassions fail not. They are new every morning. Great is thy faithfulness." The Lord's mercies, of His mercies, we are not consumed. And His compassions never fail. They are new every morning. He doesn't run out of compassion for us. He doesn't run out of anything for us. He's got a full tank for us every day. And, great. He's faithful. God is faithful. And change is hard. And it doesn't have to consume us. We have the one and only that we can count on day in, day out, 24/7. No matter what, we can count on Him. He is always, always, always our hope, our strength. He is always our comfort. We never have to worry about Him leaving us, or He's not there, or is God going to be here today? Has He got me today? We don't ever have to worry about that. And when change is hard, He's always there to help us when we have to make adjustments, when we have to embrace the change, or if we have to just accept the change. It's not always easy, but we can take comfort in knowing the one that never changes. That gives me hope. Like I said, I don't like change. I don't like it, and I will go kicking and screaming into some change. There are good changes in our lives. When I had babies, I loved it, and that was my favorite, but when there's times, when there's hard times, when there's struggles that we face and things are changing, it's hard. But we have got the one that we can rely on, the one that's going to be there, the one that's got us in the palm of His hands. We never have to worry. We may struggle. He's got us. And He is our constant. He's our provider. I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful that there is one thing in my life that will never change, and that is Him. That makes me happy. For a person that don't like change, that makes me happy. Very happy. So I hope that if you're like me and you struggle with change, you struggle with having to make adjustments, make changes, things changing, changes you didn't ask for. If you struggle with that, cling to that one thing that will never change. That is my comfort, my hope, my strength, everything. So I hope that you guys have a great day, and I will see you next time. Thanks, guys.